This is Linda, and basically this is just a quick little video on how to create these cute little cookie cutter ornaments. It's pretty quick and easy. You can do this, and I did the video in Premiere Plus Extra or Ultra. You could also be done in Premiere Plus Extra or Ultra or 60 Extra or 60 Professional, so either one. So basically you're going to learn about using clip art to create designs, use the ExpressDesign Wizard, add some embellishments, use the Windows Snipping tool, software needed, which we've already explained, supplies, you need some tearaway stabilizer, the 240 by 150 hoop, embroidery thread and bobbin thread, size 80 embroidery needle, fabric for front and back, and ribbon or string. Pretty basic. Okay, so let's get started. Basically, all I did was I did a Google search for cookie cutter coloring book printables, and I just do a search, and this is what I get. And if you notice when you get this, now there's all kinds of ones you can choose, but if I have my mouse over the top, you see how it says save and zoom in? I want to make sure that all I want to do is, I don't want those in there. So I want to make sure my mouse is over here before I open up my snipping tool. So snipping tool is part of Windows, and I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to do new. And I'm just going to do a click, hold, and drag, and I now have this in my snipping tool. And I'm going to do a copy. Now, I don't need that anymore. I'm going to just minimize that. And I don't need that. I'm going to open up my Premiere Plus. I have a nice clean blank screen. I'm going to change my hoop to the 240 by 150 hoop. And I'm going to go to the ExpressDesign. And I want ExpressDesign into hoop. And then I want to just use Create Express Border. Next, I'm going to paste my picture, which are those nice clean edged pictures. I'm not making any adjustments here. I'm not making any adjustments here. I don't want it to be an applique, so I'm going to select here where it says the applique so that applique goes away, and I only want a running stitch. So I'm going to select running stitch. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to put my stabilizer in my hoop, and I'm going to put my first layer of fabric down, and it's going to sew these out real quick for me. So again, when I'm sewing this out, I have stabilizer and I have my first layer of fabric. Now I used homespun, which worked out really nice. I had a black and red homespun, which kind of that red and black plaid that everybody seems to be using. So I'm going to just put this on here. So now I have this, and I want to put some little embellishments in here. So I'm going to click outside of this area so that I have that nothing is selected. But I want to add a couple of little things in here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the border tab, and in here I'm going to select myself a motif that I want to use. And I'm just going to leave it simple. I'm going to do these stars. Now, I'm going to put those stars across on here on this particular ornament. So I want to go, and I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, just a little bit less than 60 across. And so my ornament, or my embellishments, are actually the star, and that's set at 9. Actually, the default is something besides that, so let's go. The default is actually an 8.0, and I'm going to increase that to about a 9, just so that I can easily kind of almost divide that very nicely. So I'm going to do OK, and I'm going to do 6 repeats. Nothing is selected. Select motif. Oh, I did that already. Don't. And I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to slide that right up there, and it makes it really nice. Now, if I want to see what it looks like, don't forget you can always preview that. So that's about what I want. So I'm going to just do this, and I'm going to change this to another color. I'm just going to go to a red, which is going to be fine. And now let's say I want to add something in here. I want to add some letters. So I'm going to go to the letter tab, and I want to do this so that it's pretty small, because these are pretty small little things. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to pick on, I'll pick on the Fable brush, and I'll do Merry, and I'm going to hit enter, Christmas. And I'm going to do apply. Make sure nothing is selected again, apply. And see, that's really, really almost too big for anything I have. So remember, that's at 10. So I want to go something and find something a little bit smaller. I just like to kind of experiment with these. And so I'm going to pick on, line script, and I'm going to leave it at Merry Christmas. And I might go a little bit bigger because I can do apply, and I can put Merry Christmas right in there. Now, wouldn't that be cool? All right, so because you want this to sew out at this point, you want to make sure you do all your embellishments here. So I'm going to go in, let's go find another font, and I'm going to go, and did you know that in your font manager, you could actually go in and search for a particular size. So let's look for 5. I'm going to change this down to a 5 or a 4. And the highest I want is maybe a 10, 12, somewhere in there. And I'm going to search. So see, it's going to find those things that fit within there. And I'm going to go down just a little bit. So I'm going to go and I'm going to pick on Marlowe may be too big. So let's go to Stella and do close. So now it's got Stella up here, and I'm going to do ho, ho, ho. 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 And I want it to kind of be not exactly just a straight line. So I'm going to pick on this shape that's a flag, and I'm going to do apply. I'm going to slide that, I'm going to slide that down into here, and I can actually now make that a little bit and mess with it just a little bit. And this is going to be a matter of you just playing, and I'm going to zoom in. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to zoom in here so I can actually see this. So again, I got it out too far. So I want to make sure that it's all going to be within those lines. And I can do this and make that a little bit bigger, that a little bit longer. And I want to make sure, again, it's in the line. So let's leave it at that. Let's come in here just a little bit. All right, so let's do something else. So let's go in and let's put eyes in the snowman. So basically what I did for that one is I just used a period. So I have a Dinah 25 chosen this time, and I just did a period. And I'm going to change this to just a regular old block and apply. And that's not too bad. So there's one eye, and I can do a Control D and do the second one, and I have a second eye. Now I could put a name in here, I could put some other things in here, but I'm just going to leave the eyes in there. But I can do about anything I want. Now, let's zoom out. So now let's just say that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to add any more. But I now need to add the other outline so that what happens is at this point, I will slide another piece of fabric up underneath my hoop so that it has a backing and it hides all my extra stitches. So again, I'm just going to go back to the wizard, Express Design, into hoop, and I'm going to do create express border, do next. I'm going to, my paste is gone because guess what I did? I did this. So what I can do is I can pull my snipping tool back up, click on the copy again, and paste it. So now I have that there. So I have there, and I'm going to do next. I'm going to do next. Again, I don't want an applique, so I'm going to uncheck here. But this time I want it to be a triple stitch, so I want it to actually hold down and hold things kind of together. Now, because I'm using a tearaway stabilizer, I have a fabric on top where I did all my embellishments, and then I've slid another piece of fabric underneath. And this is going to hold it all together really nicely. So I'm going to hit finish. I'm going to change that color so I don't mess with the order of things. I'm just going to leave it, make it a pink. And I can actually watch this sew out. But now I need those little buttonhole, those little holes in here in order to hang these. So with nothing selected, I'm going back to the letter tab. Okay, so now what we want to do is put these little circles in here just so it has a little bit of reinforcement. So I've zoomed in here and I'm going to use a line block 3 to 20 and I changed my size to 8 millimeters. I have a capital O and I'm going to make sure nothing is selected. I'm going to hit apply. Now, when you move this into place, you want to make sure that when you're moving your mouse, see how when I move my mouse, I have the double arrows. If I grab the center, it's going to grab my center point here, and I don't want that. I need the double arrows, and I'm going to move that into place. Now let's change the color, just so that it doesn't mess with anything else that's already there. And now this is going to be sewing all the way through your top fabric, your layer of stabilizer, and your back fabric. That's so you can put that hole and your string or whatever you're going to use, ribbon, all the way through this. So I can just do a Control D, and again move that into place, and I Control D, and I'm going to move it again. And if you decide you want to turn this, because see how it's a little bit elongated, you can always hit the right mouse button, and I'm going to go to Properties, and I'm going to turn it by 90 degrees. So now it's going sideways instead of up and down. So this one I want to go back to the other way. So again, I can do Control D to duplicate. And be careful when you grab it that you're actually grabbing the actual with the two arrows. And I'm going to do a right mouse, and I'm going to go to Properties. And if you remember that had 80, I'm going to move that to 0. So now I'm going to do a Control D, and I'm going to move him in here. And I might want him a little bit more at an angle, and I can always rotate that a little bit, just like that. And I'm going to do a Control D, and I'm going to move him in here. And again, I might want more of an angle on that one. Maybe not the perfect 90 degrees, but close. And again, this is only going to allow us to punch a hole in there so that we can put our string. So let's watch this sew out and see what happens. As you're sewing this out, it's going to sew the first step, which is going to be on fabric and stabilizer. Then it's going to sew your little embellishments that you decided to put in here. And then at the end, it's going to sew, you're going to put your fabric down underneath, up underneath the hoop, which is going to cover up all your back sides. Now, some people might want to put cardstock back there instead, but I'm going to use fabric, and I'm just going to slide this matching fabric underneath. And then the last thing it's going to do is it's going to sew the spots where I'm going to put my holes. So basically, that's all there is to doing this. Now, when I got finished, I tore away my tearaway stabilizer. Inside remained the tearaway between the two layers of fabric, which was perfectly fine because it gave it a little bit of stiffness. Now, I used a little bit of spray starch to kind of add a little bit of stiffness to it, but I tore it away so it was all torn all the way around the outside edge. Then I used pinking shears to cut all the way around. And that's all there is to it. So I hope you try these. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Linda Stitchens. Like and share our videos. Comments are always welcome, and make sure that when you make them and sew them out, that you post a picture either to my Linda Stitchens group page or at the Premiere Plus to Premiere Plus and 60 software users group, and let them know where you learned how to make it. Thanks.